What's up, everybody? This is Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you today talking about is America dying, right? I see all the paranoia and the, oh my God, America's dying, you guys, it's dying, because people are experiencing a crunch. They're experiencing things they didn't learn in school, right? So school didn't prepare them how to balance textbooks. School didn't prepare them how to read their credit report, how to dispute things. It didn't teach them about credit scores. And you got people riding around in 17% interest cars, 10% interest houses, and they're sitting here struggling and going, America should be easier than this. Well, it is, but you got to know about how to get there, right? So this one is America dying, winning in the new economy. So the days of you just leaving high school and could barely read and have no skill and just walk into a $20 an hour job or a $12, $15 an hour job at a factory are kind of over, right? Those opportunities are going to be layered. Now, many people are saying, well, Erica, it's racism, it's this, it's classism. Well, it's a combination of things. If you notice, there's a lot of aptitude tests for jobs that you never needed aptitude tests for before. Bakery, pizza delivery, Target, all these places now are asking you all these personality questions, because really what they're doing is just weeding out the thousands of people who could come in and apply. So there's a lot of teenagers who are not working. There's a lot of young people who are in college who aren't working. Many people don't want to do pizza delivery, waitressing, or simple part-time jobs, but that's honestly where they should start, because what happens is we're piling on all this college debt, and when we get out, we haven't been paying on it, we haven't been breaking even, we haven't been throwing money towards it. So you leave with this $20,000 in debt and a $400 a month student loan payment. Many people get it reduced and they consolidate down, but they still are paying anywhere from $60 to $400. And I tell a lot of people, don't consolidate, because what happens is you put this thing off into this $60 mode and pay $60 all the time and act like that's going to get you where you need to go. It isn't. Just budget for the $400. But that's what happens. People start getting cars out of college. They start getting apartments the size they probably shouldn't. And that's part of the problem, is reading some of the comments. Sorry, you guys. But that's part of the problem is you can't afford that. If you're making $2,000 a month, and a lot of people are, you're making $2,000, $2,500 a month, already 1/3 of your money's going away in taxes. So you got to figure out how to fix your W-4, right? And then the other part is, you're like, Erica, I can't afford the average apartment in Austin right now is $1,000, $800 to $1,000. And when I first moved here 4 years ago, it was $685 is what I got. And it was a great apartment. Inflation, right? So a car, the average car payment is $500. So you have 1 in 3 males, 19 to 34, living with their parents. Now, here's my thoughts on that. When you're forced to kind of go live on your own and go live in a group setting where you have to live with other people in a house, you go make more money because there's no comfort. You're like, I want to get out of here and get my own place, or I want to get out of here and get married, or I want to go date a girl. You have more incentive. But when people are allowed to stay at home, to me, it doesn't build the necessary transition muscles, right? Because I have friends who, when we left college, we all had the same levels of debt, and I didn't really, because I had different scholarship programs, but they're walking away with $20,000 in debt, but they got an offer letter from a job saying, hey, they're going to get $45,000 a year, went and got a townhouse for no money down almost, FHA, used some of their refund checks, some of them, to get into those townhouses in Raleigh, and then rented the other room out. Some of them got really cheap houses and rented the other 2 rooms out to people who just graduate college like they did. So for the first 1 or 2 or 3 years out of college, they had a home that was being paid off by roommates, and we call it house hacking now. A lot of people just call it, bunking, because that was cheaper and they could afford it. And so it allowed them not only to pay off their debts, but be free of their parents' house. So if you have kids who are in college, that's the only thing you should be teaching them is like, hey, when we get you ready to get out of school, we need to get you an offer letter. We need to get you into a house, something cheap, where I'm from in parts of North Carolina, you can get houses for $45,000, $60,000, $80,000. And they're just 1980s, 1990s, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, ranched out houses. So there's not really an excuse, because your down payment, even if it's FHA, is like $1,000. So some people are like, Erica, just can't afford it. I'm like, you can't afford $1,000. You can't run around from your family members or work 2 jobs in the summer and scrape up $1,000. Then we probably got some other issues. And with that tip, that then lies the problem, right? Because people have all these young people living at home. They call them boomerang kids. We have people not working. I think it's every 1 in 5 homes. No one's working. A lot of people are disability. And so people are saying the American dream is dying. But if you look at the stats, 1 in 5 homes are making $100,000 a year. I think it's like 620 out of 100,000 legal immigrants are starting a business every single month. Foreign-born blacks are 30% more likely to, or 30% have 30% more income than U.S.-born blacks, right? Growth in the economy, but with who? You know, since 1990, 60% of the population has been immigrants and their children producing children. And you have to realize, for them, the American dream is different. And I tell this stat all the time because I think it's important. 1 in 10 Asians own a business, 1 in 34 whites, 1 in 54 Hispanics, and 1 in 5 blacks. The people who were most affected by this election were people who felt like they had no control over their life. They had no side income, no side trade, no trade to kind of fall back on and go, hey, I'm going to go do nursing again, or hey, I'm going to go do accounting again. And that's why I'm so adamant about bringing trades back. You know, there used to be a time in school where some kids went to college and a lot of kids went to community college and got a trade and started working immediately. Now, I'll give you an example. I know many guys who, you know, say what you will, they stayed back home. They worked for UPS. They drove a truck. And guess what? By the time I was done with college, and actually 5 years, they had a home, they had a car, and they had money in the bank. So if anybody looked their nose down at them, I'm like, how? That's the degree myth, right? Because that guy has been working. Now, here's the difference. If you take that guy and you put him on a trajectory of buying real estate every couple of years with his income, he's a millionaire. He's a 40-year-old with no college debt and a millionaire. It's a different life. Same thing with the oil rigger guys. I know guys who went in the military, did their 4 years, they came out, they went to by the time I was ending, they were coming to school about 22, 23 years old. They had an apartment, they had a car, they were living well because they were getting $1,500 a month from the GI Bill. So, I mean, they lived a little bit of life, got a little structure, got a little bit older. It wasn't just a party for college. It was like, this is their GI Bill. So I don't think America is dying. I think the ideal that it's easy and that you work 40 hours a week and you just come home and you watch TV all day and the weekends you grill out and that's life, I think that is over. I think, sadly, I think with the last recession, what we learned is you have to be making investments, right? And people say, well, Eric, I got work wiped out in the stock market. Well, I'm like, well, did you have precious metals? Did you have vehicles? Now, what's something you notice in lower income areas is they'll have a lot of cars at the house. And you may think, well, that means a lot of people live there. No, sometimes they just have 1 or 2 Hondas and they flip them. They'll put them on Craigslist, they'll put a for sale sign on them, and that's an easy $2 grand in their pocket. So that car is equivalent to a CD, cash bank deposit. It's worth it to them. And sorry, reading the comments, but it's worth it to them. And so you have to find what avenue works for you. Is it hard assets? Is it real estate? Is it silver coins? All these things that if something happens to you, you can turn around and resell. Now, what's better, is it the clipping of coupons? I have a friend who's super clips coupons, and I think it's awesome. But at the same point in time, her husband also has a business. You know, he does lawn care in the summers because he's a teacher. So already their income is tight, but all summer long, he just cuts grass and makes probably double, triple than what most teachers do because of the lawn care business, and gets all his taxes back because of the lawn care business. So it allows her to stay home. Yes, she's clipping coupons. Is it exactly what she wants to do? No, but it gives her the opportunity to stay home, spend more time with her children, and live more of that, you know, conservative lifestyle, if you were to say. Because I think at the end of the day, if more people were able to stay home with their kids, they would. But a lot of people I'm hearing is like, well, I need a woman that is bringing money to the table. Whoa, I get that, but it didn't used to be that way. It didn't used to be that way that both couples had to work to make it work. Now, what's some of the things adding to that? Let's keep it real. Cars, house, vacations. We're overdoing it in the cars. You know, I'm meeting people who have 40,000, you know, she's got a BMW, he's got a BMW. That's 2 probably $800 a month car payments. You know, once you add insurance, that's $1,000, that's $2,000 going out of their door. Then they got a really nice house in a really nice neighborhood. That's another 2 to 3 grand going out the door, depending on the city. They maybe get out to like $1,500. but it's the debt. It's just debt. So the debt's so high that if either one of them loses their job or either one of them has to trade one of those cars in, it's like they're wiped out. And so I don't believe the dream is dying. I think the dream has been changed, and unfortunately there's a lot of people who are getting left behind. I was watching a thing about West Virginia and how they had all voted for Donald Trump and thought he was going to bring the coal mines back. But these are the same people who voted for Obama. Like, you talk to them, they voted for Obama. It's not like they're just racist, Erica. No, it's the combination of they are being left behind in an economy where they need to retool. And listen, when I have friends who live in certain edges of old manufacturing towns, and while they were at college, they knew there was no going back to that town to look for that type of job. Everybody back in that town was going to community college to go get a trade. Everybody they knew that were productive, I'll put it that way. They were trying to go be truck drivers. They were trying to go be plumbers. They were trying to go do air conditioning. They were trying to do something because they knew that job wasn't coming back. Siler City, parts of Charlotte, the edges of Charlotte. And I think what happens is some people wait too late. Some people get 35, 45, 55, and they go, well, shit, I don't want to go to community college. I don't want to go get a new skill. I don't want to go get a new trade. But that is where you are if you have no investments and you have high debt. I watched this young lady, and she's always talking about net worth. Black women only got $5 or $100 net worth. But what she's failing to realize in the bigger scheme of the picture is if you're a woman or a man and you've got $20,000 in debt, you buy that house, you buy that car, and you make payments on them, in the next 10 years, if you don't jump to another house or jump to another car and you consistently pay down the college debt, your net worth will go up. And I think that's where people are getting lost, because they see right now it's negative and don't realize the impact of time. And a lot of things is, look, I have neighbors who are Asian, and I have some African neighbors. They own businesses, point blank period, whether it's just Amazon FBA, they sell one particular thing they like selling online. They have a little corner store that their cousins work at and somebody else works at while they're in the daytime working in a professional office job. They don't rely on that one stream. They don't rely on corporate America to take care of them. They know that's just not feasible. They know that's not realistic anymore, right? So even if you got 30 grand or 40 grand from a small corner store, plus your paycheck, your regular paycheck, and someone was in there working for you for $10 and $12, $13 an hour, that's a win, dude. That's a freaking win. And your wife could stay home, that's a win. Same thing with Uber and Lyft. I've talked this story many times about the guy counseled his wife was pregnant with twins. He drove Uber, he drove Lyft, he did Instacart, and he did something else. I think Rover. Oh, she did Rover. She watched dogs at the house while he was gone. And basically, he just put all that money into a business checking account. So when it came for them to try to apply for business credit, he got a $40,000 credit card first time trying. And that's after 3 or 4 months of money going into that account nonstop. So what did that allow him to do? That allowed him to then buy real estate. He bought a duplex and then buy something else, the next year. He has a really different life now. And the American dream can be what you make it. If your American dream is to travel a lot, to take many vacations, to eat out with your friends, to have meals at your house, then you're gonna have to minimize somewhere, right? You're gonna have to have that minimal lifestyle. Like when I come to your house, it can't be full to the brim with things you ordered on Amazon. It's gotta have some reasonable level of things, right? It can't have this overflow of stuff. Like you can have the stuff or you can have the experiences. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And the only way you can have both is if you're making high dollars. But again, I had friends who, he was a National Guard, she was a school teacher in Sumter, South Carolina. If you know where that is, look it up. That's what they did. Like they basically got a little $40,000 house, fixed that kitchen up. They both had BMWs. I don't know why they did that right out of college, but they did. They paid those things off in 4 years. So now whatever money they make, yes, it goes to insurance. Yes, it goes to light bill, but they had freedom to travel and do whatever. When you're renting an apartment, you never get that. You never get that break. And I know some people say, well, Erica, with your house, you never get a break. You're always paying insurance. That's true. You're paying property tax, you're paying insurance, but you have control over it. In the apartment industry, if they want to renovate and they sell it to somebody else, you got to move. I have a friend right now who's like, I got to move in 2 months. Yeah, that happens because they own the complex and they can do whatever they want. You really don't have a ton of rights. I've worked inside the apartment industry for 3, 4, almost 4 years now. Trust me, you don't have as many rights as you think you do in your apartment space. And that's why insurance is also important. If a fire happens, if a break-in happens, because really they're just not liable in any shape, fashion, or form. So look, is America dying? You know, is there police shootings? Is there poor graduation levels in some communities? Are there stuff happening? Yes, there is. But there is a overwhelmingly opportunity here. And I'll put it to you this way. Look at Ty Lopez. Look at, just Google YouTube for a lot of the fitness people you're seeing. These are young people who probably would have been personal trainers, probably would have just worked an office job and just been super in shape at their office. But now they're using this platform I'm on right now to have $100,000 income a year. Some of them are opening gyms. Some are opening supplement companies. Some of them are open selling t-shirts and hoodies and sell out all the time. There's opportunity here. Same with offline. If you want to do Amazon FBA, if you want to start something in a smaller town, the opportunity is there. If you want to have a service company, lawn care, plumbing, HVAC, any of those things you can pretty much start. And there's a great show you should check out at CNBC's Blue Collar Millionaires. Majority of the people on the show started in something people didn't like: septic tanks, you know, concrete, asphalt in the summer in Texas, and made millions because people unfortunately want office jobs. They think they're going to sit in the office their whole life, and that's not always true. So everybody, this is Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Is the American dream dead? No. Winning the new economy possible? Yes. Don't give up hope. Definitely check out the courses below if you want to talk to me, get a consult, you know, hit the button below. I want to help you push to that next level of that dream. There's a lot of freedom out there, and you guys got to go get it.